I call this meeting to order. Roll call, please. Mrs. Clark.
Trustee Bertelson,
Excused.
Trustee Black,
Here.
Trustee D,
Here.
Trustee Lucine,
Here.
Trustee Moran,
Here.
Trustee Neal,
Here.
Trustee Reinhardt,
Here.
Trustee Wilson.
Here.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Welcome to the May 19th Bozeman School District School Board meeting. Thank you for joining us. Public comment will be taken throughout the meeting on agenda and non-agenda items. During public comment, no member of the public will be allowed to comment on contested cases, other adjudicative proceedings, or personnel matters. The public portions of this board meeting are being recorded in accordance with District Policy 1420 and Section 2-3-214 MCA. By remaining in this meeting, all participants and attendees acknowledge they may appear on the recording, which will be placed on the school district's website for a minimum of 1 year from today. Further instructions about participating will be provided throughout the meeting. Before we engage in the business of the board, I would like to share the core purpose of the Bozeman School District, which can be found on the back of our nameplates. It reads, Bozeman Public Schools exists to ensure high-level learning for all students. We will now open with agenda item 2.1, student representative reports. Bozeman, Gallatin, and Bridger. Whomever would like to go first can go for it.
I've got a kind of short one for you guys today. So, we're wrapping up the school year. We have a lot of fun things happening in Bridger. So in terms of Hawk Times, we're just doing a lot of stuff to celebrate the end of the school year. One of our next ones, we're doing karaoke with next year's Stuco representatives. They're kind of setting up the whole thing. Our next year's representatives are Rosie Cassavant and Sarah Stanish, and they're super excited about the karaoke, I know that much. Our last Bridger brunch will be the 30th of May. I'm super stoked about that one as well. It's going to be more collaborative between teachers and students and just kind of really wrap the year up in that aspect. And then our senior send-off is going to be the 22nd of May. And we're going to take a drone photo of all of the BCA kids, like to spell out BCA or to put on the website as like the head photo, because obviously we don't have our own building. So that'll be kind of a fun way to represent us with all the kids. And yeah, we're just gonna have some other fun festivities sort of intertwined with that to wrap up the year and say goodbye to our relatively small senior class. But in terms of publicity, we've gotten a lot of really positive feedback regarding the website. We've had parents of our incoming freshmen reach out to teachers via the website and emails, and people coming in to like just meet with our teachers, and they really appreciate the sort of update and publicity. We have a new banner that came with the new logo. That's super exciting, and some new stickers and other swag and stuff like that. In terms of teacher updates, our teachers are using feedback from students to set up Canvas in a sort of more streamlined way for next year. Which I know will be nice for both teachers and students. And then in terms of Bridger graduation, we've been getting the ball really rolling on that. It's coming up super quick. We have the auditorium reserved for that Friday night, June 6th. We have our student speakers lined up. There's 3 of us that will be speaking. And then we're setting up a senior slideshow that has, of course, our senior photos and then whatever silly baby pictures the parents want to send in, quotes, stuff like that. And we will have desserts catered by the former Sweet Pea Bakery, if any of you are familiar, which hopefully that's a bit of a draw. It's super yummy. But we really hope to see as many of you guys there as we can. It'll be a blast. And yeah, that's all from Bridger.
Thanks, Neela. Neela, you're a senior, yes? Could you share with us what you're doing next year?
Yeah, I will be going to MSU to study conservation biology and ecology.
Thank you for attending our meetings this year and for all the work you did for Bridger and being a great student rep.
Thank you.
Any questions for Neela? Gentleman from Gallatin.
Good afternoon, everybody. Today, I'm going to start off with sports at Gallatin High School. So, track and field wise, boys placed third and girls placed second at divisionals, and we're looking strong going into state in Kalispell. I know a lot of the kids on the team are very optimistic and hopeful that we will continue our success from previous years. Softball, we won our play-in series last Thursday, and we are heading to state, which is in Great Falls. Our first game is at 4 p.m. Our softball team has never looked better, and we're really excited as a school and as a community to see a sport that has been kind of undervalued across Gallatin's history really get the recognition it deserves and start to see the success that they've been building towards for years. Tennis-wise, both girls and boys won divisionals, and we're heading into state looking to continue our success from prior years. Raina Wilson, a freshman, took the first girls singles at divisionals. Mason McCarty, a junior, took the first boys title for singles, which is the third year in a row he's done this. And we've had several other top finishes across the board. And going into state, we're looking at 1 and 2 seeds mostly for our placement within tennis. The Special Olympics had state last week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in Billings for track, soccer, swimming, and bocce. And that was a really big event for our students. We had a pretty successful send-off trying to build spirit and support for our students. And I think that as a wider community at Gallatin, it was really impactful seeing our Special Olympics students super excited and looking to participate in state. And it's always a good time. Music-wise, our orchestra senior solo concert is the 28th, and Camarada will have their final concert the 21st. If you guys are interested, please do come. It will be a very good concert with many of our seniors being highlighted for their musical achievements and their ability in tandem with our high school orchestras, and it will look to be a very good concert and a very enjoyable experience. Band-wise, we had our final performance of the year on last Thursday, the 15th, and we are now planning our end-of-year picnic for Friday, May 30th at the Bozeman Pond. We'll have games, food, awards, and it'll be overall a great time. We're just trying to continue to have that spirit and that sort of community that we've built over the years as a band program. And then our final jazz band concert is June 3rd. And in addition to all of that, we are also hosting our annual Raptor Run fundraiser and participating in the Memorial Day Parade like usual. Choir, our final concert is tomorrow, and it's the other senior send-off concert for music. Our students are very excited, and I think that they are very much looking forward to this concert with not only excitement, but also, nostalgia, recap, and finally a concert that will cap off their 4 years at Gallatin High School. Now transitioning over to senior stuff, of senior events. So we had our final class meeting last Friday, and Ms. Schnee and our other administrators presented there and told us and provided us with key information regarding commencement and also just regarding the end of the year. So English 4, so our seniors, presentations for English and their senior capstone project are next Thursday and Friday. Our sunset will be June 3rd. The last day of school is June 4th. And we have a senior breakfast in tandem with a farewell assembly and grad practice all on the 5th. And then we have a sort of bon voyage bonanza, to call it, on the 6th from 6 to 8 p.m. at Bozeman Beach. And all of you are welcome to attend that as well, because we want to have that not only be an event for our seniors and one that highlights and caps off the 4 years as a senior community, but also one that brings in the wider Bozeman community of administrators, staff, and teachers in a celebration of just Bozeman and more importantly, Gallatin. And then graduation is on the 7th at 10 a.m. So that'll be a good time.
Alrighty, thank you, Pranchu. Looking around, just other stuff happening in the school. We just had our student council elections. Those closed this afternoon at 3:30, and we did finalize our election polls. So we do have our newly elected officers and our individuals who will stand in as board representatives next year. So excited for those guys to fill in for us and take over the reins, and to meet all of you. As in addition to that, we have our spring pep assembly tomorrow, so we'll be hanging out with the student body. It's also Together Day, which is where we have lots of activities around the grounds, just as a school, doing stuff together. And so we'll be celebrating those elections results with the rest of the school tomorrow at our Spring Up Assembly. In addition to that, Key Club has been volunteering a lot, along with several other organizations in our school. Volunteering with Special Olympics just a few weeks ago. They also have a dunk tank fundraiser, are selling those yard signs you probably see around town for seniors, and are volunteering at Highlight Field Days in a couple weeks here. Along with Key Club, HOSA, and several other of our major clubs in the school are electing their new officers for next year. So just like Stuco, we're kind of refilling all those positions and getting everything set for the future of Gallatin High School with our graduating class leaving, and just making sure those clubs maintain their strong legacy they've had so far. National Honor Society has been really busy with their day of service coming up next Tuesday. We have 6 different locations planned, one being at Gallatin High School, and then that group's going to move over to Gallatin Rest Home. We have a group working with Parks and Rec, a group working for Habitat for Humanity, cleaning some trailheads, one group working with Heart of the Valley, a group working with the Gallatin Watershed, cleaning the rivers, some going over to the Highlight Field Days as well, and then also a group going over to Meadowlark to help out with students and whatever the staff have there for us. So they're really busy with their service day coming up next week. Lots of testing going on around the school. We had AP exams these past 2 weeks with several hundred students participating and hopefully earning lots of good passing scores to help them in their college and career journeys. With makeups happening this week, so some students are over at Bozeman High School throughout the week doing their makeup tests if they miss for sports or illness. We also have the Seal by Literacy recognition next Friday for those who have passed and earned that Seal by Literacy. So love to see you guys there and supporting those students who earned that very distinguished honor. And then finals are coming up for students, so everyone's preparing for those end of classes, end of year tests, just to show all of our knowledge and the stuff we've gained throughout the year. We had several major scholarship events happening for a lot of our seniors, one of those being the Bozeman School Foundation Community Memorial Scholarship Ceremony, which occurred last Wednesday, and then this Wednesday we have the Worthy Student Banquet, which will be at GHS. Love to see you guys all there. I saw many of you guys last week. It was awesome to see you support all of our seniors and their great work throughout the year. Several other big events. We have Biomed and their completion ceremony for Biomed 4 students, as well as the Biomed helicopter, which will come and land in our school grounds, and then Biomed students as well as auto students can go out and meet the crew, check it out, learn some things about the helicopter and its functions. And then we also have our psych fair coming up. Like I mentioned, we have Together Day tomorrow, as well as the Special Education Respect Rally and Raffle, which will be next Tuesday at GHS in the Commons throughout the day. But that's all we got for you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Prancho and Laszlo. Could you guys please share what you're doing next year? I actually know, but share with the rest of us, please.
I will be attending the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill and studying public policy and history.
I'll be attending Yale, and I'll be double majoring in an interdepartmental major in computer science and mathematics and economics.
That sounds easy. Well, thank you for your time and coming to all of our meetings this year. It's highly appreciated in your engagement. Did a great job. Questions for the gentleman from Gallatin? Okay, and down to Truman from Bozeman High.
All right, guys. As you may have gathered in our time together, brevity is one of my strengths, so I'm going to keep this to the essentials. So yeah, around the school, we've had AP testing going on these past couple weeks. It's been pretty crazy, which sadly means my friend Mason and I have not been able to do the announcements, but people have been making it through. We had the 60s Museum going on today, which is where our APUSH class, AP US History, they get together. The 60s was a crazy era, so they make a bunch of exhibits on a bunch of different sort of areas of culture and political events, all that fun stuff that was going on, and they sort of just show off. It's really fun. It was going on today. I hope you guys had a chance to visit because it's super cool what these kids put together in a couple weeks. Worthy student scholarships are going to be recognized this Wednesday. So that's 20 Bozeman kids, 20 Gallatin kids. Super cool. It'll be exciting. So everybody is invited to that. Let's talk about Stuco. Dodgeball tournament happened. You know what? Honesty is a virtue, and it wasn't our best event. The teams were sparse but energetic, and we're putting it in the books as a learning experience. You know, it's going to be okay. We had a lot of other great events this year, such as the blood drive, which was successful. We got every single one of our time slots filled, which is amazing. I don't think we've ever done that at our blood drives before. So good job, Barrett Boxwell. He is who ran that. Like Gallatin, we had our elections decided. We also added two new positions, which is hard hat and spirit leader, which are just like sort of student engagement positions during sports games. But you guys will be in the hands of Taylor Trudgian and Jenna Kiddo next year. They're amazing. They've been in Stuco for a couple years, so you guys are in good hands. Looking forward, we've got an end-of-year party coming up, pretty much our last Stuco event, where we're going to just sort of grill up in the parking lot. We got bouncy houses. We got dunk tanks. It's going to be a good time, so that'll be really fun. And just sort of a way to end off the year, as well as our senior party, which we're also having at Bozeman Beach from 5 to 9. So ours will be way more lit or something. There'll be a lot of prizes. All right, moving on to sports report. Sorry, I will try my best to emulate Griffin's just charm on this. Track, we had divisionals last week in Belgrade. We had lots of success. State was this weekend in Kalispell. Kylie Neal is having a fantastic season. For tennis, both guys and girls placed second in divisionals last week. 2 girls doubles teams qualified for state, and 1 girls single player, as well as 1 girls single player. 1 guy's single player and 1 guy's double also qualified. State is this Thursday and Friday at BHS. I don't know why that is so anonymous. Lacrosse and softball are also wrapping up their seasons. And to finish it off, we have our National Honor Society Service Day coming up next week. So that's going to be exciting. Academic Olympics had a state tournament in Missoula. Got 5th place, pretty good overall. And Alex Hansen placed 3rd in state and got a $2,000 scholarship for it. Super cool. DECA Nationals went amazing. And we will hear more about that, I know, pretty soon here. But we went to nationals. We even got somebody up on stage, which is really hard. So awesome. And speech and debate are gearing up for nationals. And that is my final report.
Great job. Thanks, Truman.
Thank you.
And Truman, what are you doing next year?
I am headed to New York. I'm going to study at Columbia. I'm going to do English. It's going to be super exciting.
Excellent. Congratulations. Thanks for everything this year. We really appreciate it. And as usual, you're all welcome to stay or go. So whatever works. And thanks again, everyone.
Truman. What's the date and time? What's the date of your senior party?
It's 4th. So the day we get out of school, and then it's supposed to be 5 to 9, so we're still approved.
Okay, thanks.
Up next, item 2.3.1, DECA State and International Career Development Conference awardees and officer recognition. Who would like to present tonight? Yes. Welcome. Have a seat right there, if you don't mind, and turn the mic on, Mr. Curry, and yes. Yeah, thank you. Hit the green button there and the button on the right. Perfect.
All right. Do you want the students up here right now as well?
Please
or-
bring your students up with you as well.
Yeah, Doug, students from both schools. Come up here.
Everybody come on up and don't be shy and kind of surround the whole area so all trustees can maybe see your faces. Please.
All right. Yeah. Thanks so much for having us this evening. I'm going to speak on behalf of both high schools. I am the deck advisor for Bozeman High, but Brad Meir unfortunately couldn't make it tonight. So I have the information for both schools, and I've been fortunate enough to know a lot of the Gallatin students as well because I do work at both schools. So yeah, I'll start back in February at our state conference, which took place in Missoula at the very beginning of February. And first of all, I'll say, like, here in Bozeman, we have, I think it has a lot to do with our community, but just also the strength of students we have at both schools. We have 2 of the strongest DECA chapters in the state. From Bozeman High, we brought 107, and I believe Gallatin High brought just shy of 100 at I think 98. So we were two of the biggest chapters there, and we also brought home some of the most banners. So I'll kind of go over our success in Missoula, and then we'll work our way up to where we just returned from ICDC in Orlando. So first of all, from Bozeman High, we had a great year. It was the most successful year of my 6 years as a DECA advisor. We had 9 first place finishes, 12 second place finishes, 7 third place finishes. We had a gold certified student store. 85 out of the 107 students we brought were finalists, which is a very good percentage. I know Gallatin's is very similar as well. And then we qualified 41 students to take to Orlando. Some highlights from that group were our 9 state champions. We had Elsa Austin and Tristan Clem in buying and merchandising team decision making. We had Griffin Fosdahl and Truman Dickerson in financial services team decision making. Siri Bateson in financial consulting. Reagan Flenty, who was a back-to-back state champ in professional selling. Maeve O'Brien in restaurant food service management. Henry Davidson in principles of entrepreneurship. Ika Lannis and Elsa Austin were 3-time champs, went for the three-peat in community awareness project. Annika Swandal, Danica Johnson, Hazel Nash in integrated marketing campaign product. Oliver Ward, Kieran Williams, Joshua Schwerin in franchise business plan, back-to-back champs in that event. And then Maddie Coombs and Olivia Davis were gold certified for our student store. So that's on the Bozeman side for state. I'll move into Gallatin now for how they did in Missoula. They did take one more state championship than Bozeman High did, so nice job, Raptors. Mikey Anderson was a state champion in business growth plan, Freya Conson in business operations research, Ava Floor and Wrigley Lokes in business solutions project, Shelby Tyler and Maria Mendez in the independent business plan, Lena Marie Ellis in the integrated marketing campaign services event, Jocelyn Jones in sports and operations research, Shelby Tyler in business finance services. Ezra Graham took home 2 state championships in food marketing and entrepreneurship. And Kayla Lobb and Rhea Lowe in marketing team decision making. They also had, Gallatin also had a few other accolades. Bailey Kumling was named Member of the Year and was also inducted as a state officer for next year. And we had 2 state officers from Bozeman this year, one from Gallatin, Oliver Ward from Bozeman, and Kiara Michelson. They'll both be graduating, and Bailey will be taking one of those spots. Moving into how we did in Orlando, as Truman kind of mentioned, it's very hard to get on stage in Orlando. This is, just so you guys have an idea of the level and of participation in this event, there was 26,000 students there, which was the biggest one ever. And they're not just from the United States, they're from all over the world. This year, several countries joined in the competition, anywhere from China to Australia to Germany, Mexico, Canada, and of course the United States, several other countries. So it's a massive event. And both schools had a lot of success at this. To continue from the Gallatin side, very impressive finishes from Kayla Lobb and Rhea Lowe. They got top 10. I believe you ended up 4th, right? 4th in the world in marketing management team decision making, which that's incredibly hard to do. So that's something that we certainly at Bozeman High are trying to replicate next year. It's very impressive what you guys did. Not only did Kayla and Rhea finish in top 10, but so did Lena Marie Ellis in integrated marketing campaign service. I believe 6th place. Is that correct? So in the world, very, very impressive. And then they also had a top role play score from Ezra Graham in food marketing. That means that Ezra, out of his group of 20, he won the section, had the highest role play score in his section, and he made it up on stage. From the Bozeman side, we didn't unfortunately have any top 10 finishes. We were very close. Our most impressive finish was Reagan Flenty, who was top in her section, similar to Ezra. She had the highest score in her section in the restaurant food services management event. One of the things that I'm most proud of from the Bozeman High standpoint is that we did have 25 Award of Excellence recipients, which was the highest from any chapter in Montana. So that says a lot about our students who, even though they weren't, only one of them made it on stage, the vast majority of them did very, very well at the competition. And then finally, I just want to say it's a pleasure to work with these kids. It's a highlight of my job. I know Brad would kind of say the same thing, but him and I, we're very fortunate to have a close relationship with each other where we make each other better. Every time Gallatin does something good, my kids are wanting to replicate it or surpass it, and I think same thing for them. So we push each other to be better. And it's just been fun to see these kids excel at the international level.
Great job. Thank you so much, Mr. Curry. Are there any trustee questions for the DECA kids or Mr. Curry? Sandy?
Who are the seniors? Could you just share with us what you're going to be doing next year?
Yeah, I will be studying business administration and entrepreneurship at Northeastern University in Boston, Massachusetts.
I'll be studying business administration, entrepreneurship at Cal Poly in San Francisco, California.
Nice. We know. We know what he's doing. Thank you.
I'll be studying political science also.
Okay.
That's all the
Okay.
seniors.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
That's also a good sign. The future is bright in DECA.
Yeah, yeah.
Gary?
Yeah, well, congratulations to all of you, and it's very exciting. I'm curious, what do you have to do when you're at these events to demonstrate your skills and your ability?
Yeah, maybe I'll ask a few of the kids to explain what they specifically do. There are 51 DECA events, and they all look a little bit differently, but the two main categories are role play events, which I could probably explain best as it's speech and debate meets business. And they're giving a scenario when they show up for their event. They don't know what it is, and all they know is like the category of the event, but they don't know what the scenario is going to be. And if it's an individual event, they get 10 minutes to problem solve it and present their findings and their recommendations to a judge. Basically, they're role-playing a business meeting. And then the other main category is a prepared written event or a prepared presentation where they have already gone through the process of writing an entire business plan or marketing plan. And then the second part of that's graded in advance, the paper. And then the second part of that is to present it to a judge, which is a bit more like a Shark Tank style scenario. So I don't know if any of the students want to speak specifically on maybe Oliver and Kieran. You guys are a great example of a written example.
Yeah, of course. So Kieran and I did a written event. It was called Franchise Business Plan. So basically what the goal there was to compile a around 20-page business plan where we basically have to choose a franchise. We chose Caribou Coffee. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. It's primarily in the Midwest. But we wanted to kind of integrate that and have that franchise penetrate the Bozeman market. We kind of had to illustrate how to do that, like through marketing functions, related activities, or establish like how to establish a brand presence in the area and just expand that franchise into this area of choice. So
Yeah, and then following that, we sent our 20-page document into the judges previous to competition, like about a couple weeks previous to state, a couple weeks previous to ICAC. We send that document, they're reviewing, and that becomes part of our score. But once we actually get to the competition, we have another about 20-slide slideshow. It was ours, and I think like
Gary?
Rhea, would you like to tell them about a role play since you're the top 4 in the world?
Absolutely. So the role play, it's going to be an 100-question multiple choice test. It's going to be over a variety of different business principles. It's going to be 30% of our total score. It's going to be an average between our 2 scores. And then we're going to be given that scenario with 7 key performance indicators over anything in business. We did a marketing role play this year, so it's all going to be 7 different performance indicators over business, and then a scenario that we can use to kind of answer those. And we're going to be given 30 minutes, I believe, to prep for a 15-minute presentation in front of the judge, and then we're going to be asked a couple questions about that to answer.
Excellent. Gary?
Yeah, one follow-up. Thank you very much. I'm curious, based on what you've learned and your experience with DECA, what's your view of what is a key element if you were going to start a business today?
I would say having a plan. I know we had, I took entrepreneurship class with Mr. Curry, and the biggest thing was just like having a plan and covering all of your bases and kind of knowing exactly what you are getting yourself into, like financially and like your time-wise.
I think kind of to add on to that, I think the biggest thing that I learned throughout my time at DECA, and especially as my time as a state officer, was kind of learning to fail and kind of moving past that, because there's a lot of things that you're going to have this plan and it's not going to go according to plan at all. You kind of have to improvise. And also I think collaboration is a great aspect. Something that I've learned, whether it's collaboration on our business plan and taking all these different insights and integrating that, or just, just like taking a group think of ideas and figuring out how to mesh them into a cohesive thought and plan that you can replicate. And I think it's really cool to see results from those experiences.
Thanks, Oliver. Trustee Reinhardt.
I have a quick question. How many of you would say that you have a parent that is either in business or an entrepreneur? Wow. Okay. And how many of you want to be entrepreneurs? Okay. Some of you are still deciding. All right. Well, thank you. I'm really pleased. This is crazy. Tanner, those are phenomenal numbers. I remember it wasn't that long ago when the only DECA kids were in DECA because they wanted to go to Florida. And it was a handful. And we're like, you're going to Florida? And my goodness, this is crazy impressive. So congratulations to all of you. I have the award tonight. I'm going to skip a couple lists just because we already shared the names and the categories, if that's okay. Sure. But I move the Board of Trustees adopt the following recommendation. Whereas DECA, an association of marketing students, is a student organization designed for students interested in careers or advanced education in the areas of marketing, management, and entrepreneurship. And whereas students from Bozeman High and Gallatin High attended the State DECA Conference on February 2nd through February 4th, 2025, which featured events in marketing, hospitality, finance, management, and business administration. And whereas the list of following Bozeman High students received first place awards. Tanner, thank you for sharing those with us. I'm going to go on. The Gallatin High kids are listed as well with their first place awards. Congratulations to all of you. And whereas Gallatin High School Bailey Kumline was named the 2025 Member of the Year and was also elected as a 25-26 state officer. And whereas students from Bozeman High and Gallatin High attended DECA International Career Development Conference in Orlando, Florida on April 26th through April 29th, 2025. And whereas this year's IDC hosted over 26,000 in attendance from around the world, and whereas Bozeman High School DECA ICDC awardees were Reagan Flenty for Restaurant Food Service Management, and then Award of Excellence recipients, Elsa Austin, Buying and Merchandise Team Decision Making, Siri Bateson, Financial Consulting, Truman Dickerson, Financial Services Team Decision Making, Valentina Duvall, Entrepreneurship Series, Arlie Epler, Marketing Management Team Decision Making, Reagan Flenty, Restaurant Food Services Management Series, Griffin Fosdahl, Financial Services Team Decision Making, Gracie Gaylord, Travel and Tourism Team Decision Making, William Hott, Travel and Tourism Team Decision Making. Giovanna Jacobs, Hospitality and Tourism Team Decision Making. Danica Johnson, Integrated Marketing Campaign Product. Lucas Cadillac, Travel and Tourism Team Decision Making. Tristan Clem, Buying and Merchandising Team Decision Making. Valentin Coons, Business Law and Ethics Team Decision Making. Florentine Coons, Business Law and Ethics Team Decision Making. Ella Lee, Marketing Management Team Decision Making. Gabrielle Lequesna, Principles of Finance. Hazel Nash, Integrated Marketing Campaign Product. Maeve O'Brien, Marketing Management Team Decision Making. Asia Peterson, Hospitality Services Team Decision Making. Owen Sample, Automotive Services Marketing Series. Emily Stanley, School-Based Enterprise Food Operations. Annika Swandal, Integrated Marketing Campaign Product. Scarlett Thorning, Market Management Team Decision Making. Ben Wheeler, Travel and Tourism Team Decision Making. And whereas Gallatin High School DECA ICDC awardees were Kayla Lobb and Ria Lowe, Lena Marie Ellis, Ezra Graham, and the Award of Excellent recipients. Reese Denny, Sports and Entertainment Marketing Team Decision Making. Lena Marie Ellis, Integrated Marketing Campaign Service. Ezra Graham, Food Marketing Services. Cooper Jones, Business Services Marketing. Aiden Kuntz, Integrated Marketing Campaign Product. Kayla Lobb, Marketing Management Team Decision Making. Ria Lowe, Marketing Management Team Decision Making. Abid Mahamud, Professional Selling. Sam Nasser, Business Law and Ethics Team Decision Making. Lola Pizzato Smith, Buying and Merchandising Team Decision Making. Helen Raff, Buying and Merchandising Team Decision Making. Dylan Rosenzweig, Financial Services Team Decision Making. Wade Stolman, Automotive Services Marketing Services. Kira Sakamoto, Integrated Marketing Campaign Service. Shelby Tyler, Financial Services Team Decision Making. Lydia Wadsworth, Sports and Entertainment Marketing Team Decision Making. Miles Weber, Business Services Marketing. Sophie Woodard, Business Law and Ethics Team Decision Making. Therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees recognize and honor the DECA Award recipients of both schools.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Reinhardt, seconded by trustee Wilson. I couldn't tell where that came from. Is there any public comment? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion passes 7-0. Congratulations. Thank you so much for coming. Thanks to your parents, for those of you who are here tonight. And if we could request/invite you to join trustee Reinhardt in the hall for a picture, that would be fantastic. So thanks, Mr. Curry.
Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah,
Appreciate
you're
it.
welcome. Up next, item 2.3.2, Healthy Meals Incentives Recognition Award. Mr. Waterman.
Good evening, trustees. As Brittany is back there, I'm going to have her come on up to the table here to speak with you about this award. As she does, I need to tell you that the landscape that we've been working with in school foods has been changing pretty significantly, especially in the last couple of years. We've done pretty well financially in the school food services budget for the last couple of years, but a lot of that has to do with pandemic-related revenues that are no longer being continued. And on top of that, we've got some pretty heavy school meal debt that we haven't had in the past, to the point that our donations likely aren't going to be able to cover it this year. So we'll probably have a deficit for the year. The overall budget for over a long time and the reserves that we built up are still adequate, but the backdrop, I guess, has been changing. And it's against that backdrop that Brittany's here, and we have a national award to present to you. We're still focused on keeping the big things the big things. This award is a national award that she's receiving. It has to do with the reintroduction and re-emphasis, I guess, of scratch cooking since the pandemic, and also using some locally sourced beef with our menu. So super proud of what Brittany's been able to accomplish. It's an uphill road at this point, just candidly in the food services department. So we're working on some changes and hopefully get things righted again. But couldn't be more proud of what Brittany does and her team down there. So Brittany Selvig.
Thank you for coming, Brittany. You are now, you can now give your speech. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But could you please push the button on the right? Are there any trustee questions for Brittany? Sandy.
So how long have you been with the district, Brittany?
This will be finishing my 11th year.
Wow. I mean, I remember when you came on board. It's amazing that what you've done in the 11 years. I was wondering what's your favorite part of this job, and then what's a challenge? You get one
It's a
challenge.
rough time of year to ask that. No, my favorite part would be honestly the people I get to work with. We have a really good team. And I mean, starts at the top. Our administration, as you guys know, is amazing. But then all the trickle down to, we really struggled with staffing there for several years. And we're kind of back on solid ground. So I feel like we have a really solid team right now. And we're all pretty close. The biggest challenges, was that the next question? That list could be
You
pretty.
only get one.
Oh. let me go grab my notes. Honestly, right now, our biggest challenge is funding, and that is at a federal level. The same thing that can trickle down to state. I believe there's 10 states now that have passed universal free meals. Montana has not, as you know. But just in general, as like the base layer, reimbursement for school meals has not kept up with everything else, as is the case with a lot of stuff. So like Mike said, we're looking at that and
figuring it out,
being cautious, with how we spend while still trying to keep meals healthy and things that kids will eat. So that's the biggest challenge right now that we look at every day.
Well, congratulations and
Well,
thank
thanks,
you
Sandy.
for your service
Yeah.
to the district and to kids.
Thanks.
How does the participation in school lunches right now compare to the past?
Elementary, we hold around 40 to 50%. High school and middle school are hard to gauge actual participation because elementary, we kind of force a reimbursable meal, where high school and middle school, they get more freedom. So we have a lot of students coming through. They're not always getting a meal. It's gone up slightly, but as a whole, and we also kind of stopped focusing on participation. For instance, our elementary schools, we logistically can't feed more right now due to space and time. So we're kind of at a sweet spot where we're feeding as many as we can. Basically, if participation went up, we'd be looking at major kitchen remodels.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Gary.
Any further, Gary?
Yeah, thank you very much, Brittany, for all your hard work on this. I'm just curious if you have had any information from students and parents regarding meals, and have they given you any vision of what might work best for them for their kids to participate?
No. I think, trying to think of how to answer that. No, I don't hear a lot of feedback in general, good or bad. So I don't know how to take that, I guess. But to feedback from them as far as increasing participation or what would get different kids that normally don't eat in the door, no. It would be, I mean, I know what it would be, and it would be like all local, all scratch made, but then at the same time, kids don't eat that. That's what parents would want. So it's all just a balancing act, basically.
Yeah, I'll add to that, Gary, a little bit. Obviously track every meal and participation against those meals, and I think this board's seen our slide a couple different times. The biggest seller meals that we have are exactly what my kids love, like chicken nuggets and what is it, the French toast or
The pancake wrap. we love
pancake
to-
wrap, those types of things. The things that sell well to parents and that the parents would like them to eat are the scratch cooked meals, which are they're really good, candidly, but we can't afford to serve them all the time because kids just don't eat them. So we're kind of trying to hold those things in balance, and I think this award speaks to the idea that, you know, of what the program's trying to do, what Brittany and her staff are trying to do as far as find new things that the kids will eat that also their parents are going to be excited about. But it's about finding those balance at the high school level. It really comes down to a lot of a la carte things. It's not necessarily a reimbursable meal that walks out the door, but at the same time, we don't have meal debt due to a la carte purchases. Those kids have to have the money in their accounts to buy what they're buying a la carte anyway. So it's a transition. I think we're a little bit of a turning point in the program, and something we just need to take a step back when the school year settles down and take another look at.
And one more thing on that is we're always looking and trying to find new things that we want to offer that we, you know, to balance out like the French toast stick. And so, yeah, for instance, this year we went into the year with 3, I think, new scratch recipes that we do we do testing and everything at our central kitchen, grow the recipe up so we can push out 3,000 servings. And not all of those stuck. They were beautiful recipes, but maybe for like a 39-year-old, a 6-year-old didn't want the veggie soup, unfortunately. It was amazing, but so then, yeah, it's a money loss, so we have to pull that off the menu. So does that make sense?
Lauren.
First of all, congratulations, Brittany, and I love what you've done with the program. And as somebody who has an elementary kiddo, yes, when we look at it, he's like, all right, there's the pancakes, there's the, but he does also like anything with the local beef and everything. And as a parent, I love seeing that focus. I know it's not sustainable in Bozeman to have everything locally sourced. But all of, I mean, I know this award is mostly on the beef aspect, but everything from lentils, which are mostly grown in Montana, you're bringing beets, beet hummus, like those different focuses. I hope families are having conversations at home. I know we are. So if that
Awesome.
doesn't always trickle back to you, here it is in the public format.
thank you.
That I
Yeah.
know some people are talking about it, and I really do appreciate your time.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate hearing that.
Beet hummus?
Yeah, beet hummus.
It's like fluorescent pink. It's so cool.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Kids are very excited.
I didn't know about beet hummus. Trustee Black?
Well, congratulations, Brittany. I will say, as a parent of a high school student, I'm not sure what he's buying, but he seems to be buying a lot and has transitioned from his freshman year of not using his account very much to needing refills multiple times a year. So I get that email reminder. So,
Oh, good.
but again, let's just preface that I have no idea what he's buying. So he might be buying his friend's fruit. I have no idea. And the typical conversation goes something like, "Oh, what'd you have for lunch?" "Yeah, good," and then not a whole lot more. So,
I can send you a report if you would.
okay. Yes. I don't think I want to check up that much on him. I appreciate it though. So again, congratulations. I will say that I appreciate all of our awards that we present for our students as well, but I feel like, and I don't know what the stat is, but I feel like we also have some really amazing awards that we get throughout our district for many different positions, whether it's your department or Mike's department, teachers, administrators. So I'm very grateful to always see these come through and be able to recognize those people that are doing such great work in our school district. So congratulations.
Thanks.
I move that the Board of Trustees adopt the following resolution, whereas the U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA Food and Nutrition Service, and Action for Kids or Healthy Kids created a Healthy Meals Incentive Recognition Award to recognize and celebrate school food authorities that have made operational changes to improve the nutrition quality of their school meals and that engage students and families in nutritional education and in the planning and preparation for nutritional school meals. And whereas award recipients receive national and local recognition as well as awardee toolkit that includes digital assets and travel stipends to attend the National Healthy Meals Summit. And whereas the Bozeman School District Food Service Program was recently honored as a recipient of this prestigious award as a result of the district's effort to improve the nutritional quality of school meals through scratch cooking and local sourcing. Over the past year, the district developed and standardized 3 new scratch-cooked recipes featuring Montana-raised beef and USDA ingredients. These items were added to the regular menu rotation, and staff received training to ensure consistent quality across all schools, all as part of the district's effort to rebuild our scratch cooking program post-pandemic. Therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees recognize and honor support service Supervisor Brittany Selvig and the entire Bozeman School District food service staff for their efforts to serve nutritious, locally sourced meals to our students and for receiving this award and distinction.
Second.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Black, seconded by trustee D. Is there any public comment? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion passes 7-0. Congratulations, Brittany. How should we do this picture?
Right here.
Let's do it right here. So would
Come up
you come around and stand maybe in back of us, and then Lori could take our picture? And then would you like us to? See. Well, yeah, if we could have the trustees that are outside of the picture stand up and come a little bit closer, I guess, so we could all be in the picture. Casey, you don't need to, you could probably stay, yep, all right. So everybody just squeeze in.
We have an empty odd chair in the middle.
Somebody sit in this
Yeah, somebody sit, there you go.
Let me take the opportunity. You're so tall. I am.
Thanks, Brittany.
Thanks, Brittany.
Thank you.
Thanks again, Brittany. Yeah, you can't get out that way. Up next, item 2A0, reorganization of the Board of Trustees. Mrs. Clark.
Good evening, trustees. It is my pleasure to be able to walk you through the election results of this year's election. And then after we walk through and canvass the votes, the next step in the process is swearing in of the newly elected trustees. And then the final step in this process is the organization of the new board. So we'll start with a presentation, if I could get the hookups. Maybe not. Yeah, sorry, I just showed you. All right, so as we all know and are very well aware, May 6th, 2025 was our election, where we ran 2 trustee positions, a high school and elementary general fund election, and then the building reserve in the elementary. So as you can see, thankfully, we always have had a supportive community, and that did not falter this year. So we were pleased to be able to say that all 3 of our levies passed, and we had 2 trustee seats filled. The election results for trustees are as stated. The reason for this, that there's so many undervotes for this section, is although it says vote for two quite clearly at the top of the ballot, a lot of times people only vote for one. So when it says it's an undervote, it just means people either filled in no bubbles or only one bubble when they should have filled in for two. As we know, since we had 2 seats and we had 2 people running, it was not necessary to run the election. However, with the timing between printing ballots, we have a lot of ballots that have to get printed, and being able to physically cancel the election, it just logistically doesn't work for the Gallatin County to remove the names from the ballot. So Lauren and Sarah were both voted in as the new elementary trustees for the school district. Congratulations. In regards to our elementary levies and the election results that we have there, you can see that we had more fors than against. As always, that's a testament to the voters that we have. The margins here were larger than they were last year, and I'll get into that a little bit in a minute, but still a low voter turnout. I think we had 30%, which I'll show you a graph here in a minute as well. For our high school here, once again, there's more votes in the high school because the high school district is a bigger district than the elementary district. So keep that in mind as you're looking at those election results. Let's see. So here is where we can see what the election voter turnout looked like. 2025 was the lowest since 2019 as far as the number of people actually casting votes within the district. Thankfully, the majority of those were positive votes, and we were able to pass all of the levies. And then here, once again, you can see the blue line is the registered active voters, and then the ballots cast are down below in red. Voter turnout, you can see, is right at that 30% mark. When you look at voter numbers, you can see the registered active voters really maintained from last year, but we had roughly 3,000 less voters on this year's election. It was very interesting. Here's our year over year of elementary general fund approval rates. 59.7% said yes this year, compared with 57% last year for our elementary general fund. For our elementary building reserve fund, we passed with 56.7 yes. The last time we passed a building reserve levy was 6 years ago, and that was with a 57% approval rate, so a 0.3 difference, or 0.03. You can see in 2023, we did pass another elementary building reserve. That was the safety levy. So that one is a permanent one. We won't see that one back on the ballot unless we decide to change those terms in any way. Otherwise, we'll likely see another elementary building reserve in 6 years when this one expires. And then here is the high school general fund approval rates, 56.9 yes this year. Besides last year was 53.6%. Besides that, the lowest voter approval rate was 2008. So still low numbers when it comes to approval rates and voter turnouts. And then this is the final slide, just to bring to your attention. These are the election results in the high school district by elementary district. So these are all voting on the high school general fund levy, and just kind of broken out by jurisdiction or district. You can see that the Bozeman Elementary District continues to support 2,400 net yes votes. Anderson Elementary had a total of 21 yes votes, difference of 21 yes. Montfortin, Lamont, and other elementary districts that didn't necessarily run an elementary election, but still received our high school ballots are in that very last line. You can see that the Bozeman Elementary voters are substantially subsidizing the yes votes for the high school district. So that's all I have as far as going over the the election results. Does anybody have any questions for that?
Thanks, Lacey.
Yep. So the next part of this process is to take a motion to adopt the election results as presented.
I move we adopt the election results as presented.
Second?
Motion made by trustee Reinhardt, seconded by trustee Moran. Is there any public comment? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion passes 7-0. Thank you. Up next, 2.2 AO, swearing in and oath of office to newly elected trustees.
So John Nielsen couldn't be here tonight. He typically does the swearing in, so he's appointed me his designee. And what that means is I will do the oath of office for Lauren, and then at a later date, we have 15 days from when we received the election certification from the county. So the 28th is when we'll swear Sarah Wilson in. And before we do that, I'm going to pass this down. This is the Canvas document. If each trustee that's in attendance could sign that, that would be much appreciated. Do you want to, if we stand up
Do you two want to maybe meet right here?
in the middle?
I'll let you do your thing then. You don't need my guidance. Will a motion be required after you swear, trustee Deanne?
You get her whether.
These are all the same document.
Okay.
And then Greg, I'll also have you sign as board chairperson.
You're excused. Thanks, trustee Reinhardt. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Tanya.
Thank you, Tanya.
Which brings up item 2.3 AO, organization of new board.
Okay, so with the reorganization of the new board, I will call for a chair nomination. After a nomination is made, I will call for any other nomination 3 times. If no other nomination is made, then I will hand the meeting over to the elected chair. The elected chair will therefore call for a vice chair nomination. Once a nomination is made, they'll call for any other nominations 3 times. Once that concludes, we'll take a nomination for appointment of district clerk, and that will be completed with a motion and a second.
For clarification, one motion for all of that, one motion and a second for all of that? No,
Just a motion for the clerk at the
just a
end.
motion for the clerk.
Yep.
Thank you.
So I'm declaring the reorganizational meeting open, and I will call for nominations for the chair of Board of Trustees.
Sandy?
I would like to nominate Kevin Black as chair.
Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Nominations are now closed, and Kevin Black is now the chair for the Bozeman School District Board of Trustees.
Can I ask a question? Will there be a moment to just thank Greg for his service and everything? There better be. Okay, okay. After it's all over or something?
You certainly can, yes.
Perfect, okay.
I better get organized. Not quite as organized as Greg yet. Be a learning process here for all of us. All right, so next thing is vice chair would take a motion for vice chair nomination.
I nominate Lauren D. for vice chair.
Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? All right. Nominations are closed, and Lauren D. is now the vice chair of the Bozeman School District Board of Trustees. All right, and now I'd entertain a motion regarding, let's see, excuse me. This one, all right. A motion and a second to appointment of the school district clerk. Gary,
I move we appoint Lacey Clark as clerk.
Second?
okay, so we have a motion by trustee Lucine and a second by trustee Moran. Do we need public comment? Not at all. Is there any public, okay, any public comment? All right, any other discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? All right, motion passes 6-0. This will close the reorganization of the board, and trustees can move forward with the agenda. All right, Sandy, we can take a little bit of time right here. I would start by just saying, Greg, thank you for your many years as a vice chair as well as a chair, and the support of the board and the community. Ultimately, what it becomes is so your dedication to that, and led us in many different directions in some very challenging and very fun situations. Yes, that's how I'd put it. So. I guess, are there any other comments right now? Trustee Wilson?
Well, I would really like to thank Greg also. Our time together as we co-chaired during COVID was interesting and challenging, and I was really glad to have someone like you right next to had my back and I had yours, and I feel like we really co-chaired that whole time together. And I cannot thank you for you were so solid, and the countless hours that you gave. We were both brand new to our positions, and we made it through. In addition to that, you've brought us out of COVID as chair and moved us forward to where we are now, which I'm so pleased and so happy. We are in such a great place for so many ways. And your meetings are extremely well run, I'm just going to say. So Greg, thank you very, very much for what you've done, not only for the school board and that leadership, but the kids and the teachers in our district. I'm just really, really appreciate everything you've done.
Thanks, Sandy.
Yep.
Gary?
Yeah, I would echo what Sandy said. So thank you very much for your leadership and dedication to our students. And I appreciate the transition that our board has and the leadership and collaboration. And I'm very confident that's going to continue, thanks to Sandy's leadership, Greg's leadership, Casey's leadership. And so it's much appreciated. So congratulations, Kevin and Lauren?
Greg, thank you very much for your leadership. It was fun working with you on the Bozeman Schools Foundation Board, and it's been fun working with you for the school board. And I hope you do run next year. You said you will.
I did say that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it's on
thanks, Melissa.
record.
Yeah. So, I can't call on Lauren anymore.
I also just want to say thank you, Greg, for your leadership and just from the beginning, your support, answering all the questions, helping me navigate my first couple of years, all the knowledge as I got into this. And once again, it was you who twisted my arm a little bit to get here. But I am so grateful for this experience up here. And so thank you for introducing it to me. And then just all your strong leadership in keeping us really collaborative, strong board. I appreciate you.
Can I ask him one more question?
I'd really like to say no, but yes, go ahead.
Oh, boy, here we go. So Greg, what do you take away from this experience for the last 5 years? Literally, you've given the district. What is your biggest takeaway that you've either really enjoyed or you've been moved by or whatever?
Oh my gosh, the last 5 years. Sitting on this school board has been I'm not, this might sound like an exit little speech, but it's not, because I'm gonna rerun as it is right now next year when my term is up. But I've said this from the beginning, since 2017, it's a huge honor to sit on this school board. 7,300 kids, which is what we're tasked with educating. I've done a lot of community service in my life leading up to when I found myself on the school board. I never thought that I'd never been to a school board meeting before 2017. I didn't know anything about school board. I had a little bit of involvement with the school district. My wife had way more. And I was asked to consider applying for an appointment to the school board when Bruce Grubbs vacated a long time ago, and a portion of you all chose me. And it's been rewarding. It's been life-changing. The relationships that I've developed with all of you, and friendships, and learning about consensus, which is what makes the world turn in Bozeman School District, and sitting on all the committees and interacting with the public through holding a public office. It's been a huge element of self-development for me personally, and it really has become a little bit of a piece of self-definition. How I define myself a little bit is a huge part of sitting on this school board for the last however many years it's been. And it's just truly an honor to serve 7,300 kids in the same school district that I grew up in. My mom was a teacher in the school district here. My brothers grew up in the school district. I have nieces and nephews that are in the school district. My kids, my own kids, 2 are out, 2 are still in here for a couple of years, sophomores. And so my heart is still very much in this, and so I plan to run again and serve another 3-year term after this current term is up next year. So thank you all for your support these last 5 years when I was in leadership with Sandy, Tanya, and Kevin, and I'm really excited to now kind of groove into being a supportive trustee. I have such a high appreciation for our superintendent that we have, and going through the process of hiring our superintendent was a learning experience for me, and having a front row seat to watching our superintendent develop into the best superintendent in the state and the region has been an amazing thing to be a part of, and the friendship that we've developed. I have a high appreciation for that as well. So I'm going to miss being in the board leadership room, but I'm not going anywhere, and I have a huge amount of confidence in Kevin and Lauren moving this forward, and continuing to keep the Cadillac on the road. I'm handing them the keys to the Cadillac and told them not to run it off the road, and I have a huge amount of confidence that they're going to do that, and And when Kevin and I took Lauren to coffee last August, we were leaving this room. We had a meeting in this room, and we were walking in the hall, and I asked Lauren if she would join Kevin and I for coffee, and the first thing that came out of her mouth was, "Can I just say no right now?" And that, as far as I was concerned, that was when she got the job. And I think it's pretty awesome that Lauren's mom is here supporting her as well. So, and Trustee Black, I appreciate you being along with me this last year. And that's a lot of talking that I just did, so I'll stop. But thanks for everything.
I would just add, Greg, you pointed out a trait that I think a lot of us have that serve on this board. And I believe it is that, no, we don't want the position, but we're more than happy to step up. I think if, at least from the last couple that I've spoken to, Greg and Sandy, it sounds like Lauren as well, myself, none of us had the idea that, hey, my goal is to be in this position at some point in time. And I appreciate that. That is kind of how our board operates. We have people that have the ability, but nobody has to be the person. So I think that what helps us maintain some consistency and stability, and hopefully that reflects to our administration and everyone else. So it's going to be a great year now. We got to get rid of Greg. Once I learn once I learn what I'm actually supposed to do, so that's going to take a while.
You have my permission to move this forward.
Yes. All right, now moving on to agenda item number 3, action item for consent. Greg.
I request that we pull item 3.3.1 out of consent agenda and add it to the end of the agenda, please. And I think we need
And all what we need is just that, and then, so we're good on that. So the remaining agenda consent items would be 3.2, 3.3, 3.4, and 3.5. So if I have a motion for any of those items. Sandy?
I move that we approve 3.2.1 and I'll just read that from here, 3.3 and 3.4 with the one removed.
Second?
Any public comment? Okay, so we have a motion to approve consent agenda items 3.2, 3.3, and 3.4 by Trustee Wilson and Trustee Moran, and seconded, by Trustee Moran. All those in favor? All those opposed, same sign? All right, motion passes 6-0. And then we have 3.5.
I move that we approve consent item 3.5.
Second.
Okay, we have motion to approve consent item 3.5 by Trustee Moran and seconded by Trustee D. Any public comment? All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes 5-0. All right, now, so with those being complete, now we're moving on to, I guess it would be action item now, new action item 3.1. Casey, would that be you?
Sure. Yeah, I think if you listen to the high school calendar for our student representatives, there's a lot going on. One of the pieces of the puzzle that caught my attention was Truman Dickerson explaining that the Bozeman High Senior Party was also at Bozeman Beach, and we didn't have an agenda item for that. So Dr. Mars King was able to connect with Mr. Mills. They will be doing their senior party at Bozeman Beach as well on June 4th. And so I'm just looking for a modified, my recommendation is modified to, the reason it's on the agenda is we have board policy that says if we're going to do a school-sponsored activity off of our campus, we need board approval to do that. And so having both, the modified recommendation would be to allow Bozeman High and Gallatin High to pursue their senior parties at Bozeman Beach on June 4th at Bozeman High and June, someone give me the date, 6th as detailed in the agenda item. Thank you.
Okay, do we have a motion for that item? Gary?
I move that the Board of Trustees approve Bozeman High having their senior party event at Bozeman Beach on June 4th, and Gallatin High having their senior event at Bozeman Beach on June 6th.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Any public comment? All right, so we have a motion on the floor from Trustee Lucine and a second from Trustee D. All those in favor? All those opposed? Did you vote? Did I see? Oh, okay, sorry. Motion passes 6-0. All right, next one, 5.3. Casey or Mike?
Yeah. Trustees, we've been following very carefully House Bill 153, which is the makeup of the decennial study in the interim now that the legislative session has closed. I just wanted to make sure you were aware that Mr. Mike Waterman was recommended for the formal decennial study commission and has accepted that offer on the House of Representatives side. So there are 6 representatives from the House, including our Representative Matthews from Bozeman, 1 business official, Mike Waterman, and 1 rural school superintendent. And they couldn't have, if their goal was to select someone who understands the funding formula inside and out and the history of the funding formula, they certainly picked the right person. I think Mr. Waterman also has a reputation and that I really appreciate for asking hard questions and getting the right things in the room. And so I am certain that the Decennial Commission will be talking about some of the more challenging topics, such as why do we have 400 individual school districts in the state of Montana?
Mike, congratulations. Thank you for serving.
I think it was kind of like Lauren D's conversation out in the hall. But, thank you.
All right. Any other items on that? Okay, moving to agenda item 6, public comment, non-agenda items. Welcome. I'm pretty sure you know the routine. So if you can just put your name and, yep, that'd be great. Right side button. Yep, there you go.
Hi, my name is Patty Steinmuller, and I'm here just speaking for myself. This afternoon, I attended the 60s museum at Bozeman High School under the direction, the direction of the students with Derek Strawn. And I was very pleased and excited to go and talk to a lot of the students. And it's a wonderful event. That's the first time I realized that this is an annual event. I don't know how long it's been going on. But it was great that the public is invited to come. And there were a lot of people there. And it was inside, outside, all these booths and everything. So that's my comment on that part. He's in charge of the AP history. And then a couple weeks ago, I was invited to go to Gallatin High School on the invitation of Joe Cusack, who is in charge of AP history for those students. In each school, it's over 100 students. And he asked me to come and speak on the suffrage timeline. That's a voting history of the U.S. throughout. And he chose that date because It was about a week before the students took that AP National, AP Push exam. So I was very pleased to go there. So I thank you as a board for the support you've given to your teachers, especially those teachers that I've had experience with, and for all of those students. So thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, any other public comment? That's all. Oh, yeah. No, you need to move over there for sure.
I just wanted to say thank you to all of you. I've been in the district since I was in kindergarten, and we moved here when I was about 3 years old, so Bozeman is pretty much all I've ever known as far as education goes. I've had the privilege of being very involved with you all and with the district on a number of levels, not just as a student, but also representing my fellow students at Gallatin High School. My first board meeting was back in 6th grade when the Raptor had yet to be, so it's been a long journey, and I'm just really grateful for the opportunities you guys provided, the service you've, and the work you've put in for our district. I think a lot of times we take it for granted, and I see that student side where, especially as we get older, all we want to do is complain about things. No matter how easy and built for us they are, and how easily they are handed to us, students like to complain, parents like to complain, but I have had that privilege of seeing you all at a more personal level, and the work our district does as a whole, and I just want to say thank you. Education is often seen as something we all have a right to, but it's not always granted to everyone, and we don't always have the same access, so I am incredibly grateful for Bozeman School District for providing that education, allowing me the ability to grow and access my future the way I have, so thank you to all of you. You're incredible people, and I hope you continue to serve the way you have, so thank you so much.
Thank you, Laszlo. Very kind of you. And it's also very fun for some of the students, as we had last couple of years, stay for the whole meeting. I know it can be, it's a lot, so it's appreciated and noticed, so thank you. Next, executive reports, cabinet report.
I think the item of note is we wrapped up certified bargaining. Consensus negotiations last week, four full days, and then some of our team and the BEA team were here on Friday as well, building out communication. As trustees, you should have received communication from me over the weekend, kind of detailing what we were able to offer. Very appreciative of Lauren and Melissa and Leanna for their participation in negotiations. And also very excited that we operate in a consensus fashion. We operate in full transparency. We had a BEA meeting downstairs, and when you think about negotiations in general, you're talking about two sides. You're talking about each side coming in with something they want, and then you meet and you end up with something in the middle, and there's potentially winners and losers in that process. Very pleased that through the STARS Act, through the passage of our operational levies, through the already existence of safety levy, technology levy, building reserve levies, we were able to leverage dollars for teachers. So the district came in with their best foot forward with a checklist of items. Those items including offering a compensation package that would be the largest by percent in dollar that any staff member had received in 10 years. That we would take advantage of the STARS Act and have the highest teacher starting salary in the state of Montana. And the list sort of went on, those types of compensation items. We accomplished all of that through 4 days, and very excited that we will have starting teachers making over $50,000 next school year. We're able to offer take advantage of the STARS Act cost of living adjustment in year 2 and provide cost of living stipends to all staff members. We're going to be able to do that at no net increased tax increase, which is exciting next year. When we think about the road show next year, it's going to be around the cost of living. and a major offset. We've gone to the community before with offsets. It's never been 100% offset. So we're anticipating being able to offset 100% of the operational levy ask at elementary and high school, allow us to go above maximum budget via the STARS Act, and offer a $1,500 cost of living stipend annually to every employee in the district. So all in all, that it's a big win. It's a 20, if you take into steps and lanes and all those pieces of the puzzle, our current first-year teachers will have a 20% increase over 2 years. And so we also know that it's never going to keep up with the cost of living, but there were, I'm very pleased that we have a continued trusting relationship with the BEA and such high-powered business officials that when they open the books and show all the details, it's met with respect and trust, and we move forward from there. Also want to mention this is Pat's last negotiation cycle as an administrator in our district. We will certainly have him back as a very cost-friendly contractor in the future to pursue those negotiations. But if you've been in a consensus circle with Pat, there's storming that happens and there's norming that happens, and Pat has the ability to guide and steer and ask the right questions and move through tough issues. So thanks for your service. With that, I'd take any questions on the negotiations.
Well, I want to thank the trustees who took part in that. I've done it a couple of times, and it's an amazing process. I remember I used to negotiate at a little rural school, and the first time I walked into the room and I went, HR is sitting next to the BEA president. I couldn't wrap my head around that, and yet over the years we have this incredible working relationship between them and also by using the consensus process. I'm just really proud of our district to put teachers really as a priority this year, and we always have. We've always tried to do the best that we can, but we have the ability now to do that, and it's so important. So, and Pat, we are going to miss you, but I'm really glad that you're going to come back cheaply. No, I know that, but I mean, in that capacity. Yes, thank you. I've been in many things where you facilitated consensus, and it's incredible. So thank you for your work on this also.
Any other comments, questions? Any other reports?
Nope.
Okay. Next item, Board of Trustees. Any Board of Trustee reports? Gary?
Not really a report, but just to remind people the annual meeting is June 4th in Helena or by Zoom. So I'm curious who all plans on attending that?
June 4th, what, by, oh, man.
Just a reminder, if you plan on attending, Lori can register us for that. So, and then I got an email today that the Region 8, we're in Region 8. Maybe some of you got that email too. So that meeting is 8 o'clock on May 30th, Friday, May 30th, 8 in the morning by Zoom. So if anybody can attend that, I'm not sure I will be able to. I may be traveling that day, but I'll see. So just a reminder. So thank you.
Any other reports? I would just remind everyone, if you haven't, we still have quite a few different, as mentioned by the students. We do have some other things, other items coming up for to attend potentially. So if you haven't signed up, or if you see something that's blank, you can reach out. Well, if you have a question, you can reach out to me or Lauren. But yeah, it'd be great if we could have people or a couple or a few trustees at many of these different events, year-end events. So just a reminder to take a look at that again. All right, with that being said, to have a motion or just? All right, close this meeting, adjourned. Good job.